Okay, so today is day 91. It's been 3 months since we started this project, and we are currently under roof. Framing is done, and they are working on the utilities. The plumber's been here for about a week now doing the waste lines and vent lines, and the HVAC contractor has also started, kind of piggybacking on a lot of the stuff that the plumber's already done. We did have meetings at the site to coordinate where they're going to locate their different pipes and stuff. It does get a little complicated when you've got only so much room and they all need to share space and work together, and the plumber obviously becomes probably the number one priority because they are the ones that have to work with the gravity. So here we are, we've got the generator running, and unfortunately, it's been several months and ComEd still hasn't gotten service out here. The last time I checked with them, they said they never received the paperwork from the village. The village has sent it out a couple times now, so I'm going to be checking in with them later this morning and see what's going on. But hopefully we can get power out here. But as you can see, some of the plumbing is in place, and let me go take a closer look here.
Alright, so here we are. Here's Dave, the plumber here. And he's doing a hell of a job here. You'd think all this would be really simple, but it's not, right?
It's not, especially when you do the work for the architect guys, right?
That's right, because everything's all special.
Every
And
single plumbing wall sitting on the double, triple joist, OBLs and stuff like that, right?
yeah, exactly.
Here we have the gas piping going into the dryer box at the laundry room, and you can see there's an awful lot of piping happening right in that one location. So it gets a little tricky, and that's with a 2x6 wall. So anyhow, they're all doing a great job, and we should have gas piping finished up in the next day or so. So if you recall, in the selection phase, it was very important to make selections, not only for the budget purposes, but also once the house is framed in, the very next trade is the plumber. They get priority because everything has to drain, and they're pretty fixed on their locations. But what's super important here is that the plumber doesn't really know, unless he's got an idea of the cabinetry and the location of where sinks are going to be, where to put his rough in. So that's a super important part of the whole layout. And initially, if you don't have selections, forget about even having the plumber out there. Now over here, it will be the entrance to the shower. What we're doing, again, I mentioned it previously, but it's worth repeating here, is the shower is a no threshold shower. So there's an adequate space here to be able to get into the shower, and this portion here will be flat where I'm standing, and then it'll slope down to a drain. We will have a linear drain there on the far end of the shower that'll go across the back side there, and everything will drain in that direction with a slight pitch, but it'll all pitch that direction. Over here we're trying something that I hope works out really well. It's a Kohler product, and I don't know how much I'll be able to show you here, and again, this is something that if the plumber doesn't have it ahead of time, he can't plumb it in, but this is the control for temperature. So this will control the temperature right or left. There's kind of a big round knob for that. And then these are push on, push off for the other two zones of water, one being the shower head, the other the handheld. And then these can also be adjusted for volume as well. But once those are preset, you just be able to push it, boom, and it'll either be on or off. And you know, once you get a certain way you like it, it'll probably stay that way, and it'll just be a buttons that you push. Again, all these decisions were made months ago and ready for the plumber when he was going to start. Now we'll move over to the kitchen here, and in this case, it gets a little tricky too, because just some of the structural stuff and everything else that's happening, but that's where the kitchen sink will be located. So the vent has to go up a certain height and then come back down, and then it'll go across and up and out of the house that actually is around the corner here. There is a water supply for the refrigerator here, and that'll supply the ice maker, which was something that I was kind of reminded of the other day, that I don't have a water supply for the refrigerator in the garage. And I like having the garage refrigerator because it's just another storage area for food and such, but also being out here, drinks will be readily available. We also added, plumber suggested, let's put a hot and cold water supply out here. I don't really need it, probably won't use it, but figured I might as well do it. Now's the time. So let's go back downstairs here. So the plumber takes care of the water, which in Plainfield has to be copper piping. So in this case, we have a hot and a cold, and then a return line for recirculation, and also the waste line here and the gas piping. So that particular stub off with the shut-off valve will be going to the furnace location, and of course, you know, the plumber got his spot, and then the next spot over is for the heating guy, and then the electrician gets the rest of what's left over. Poor guy. So we'll follow this along, and again, they were able to take branches up and over. Let's see if we can see that a little bit, where they would go up and over and in above the joist, or into the joist space across the hall, and the rest of it kind of continues along this way. Picks up the other hall bathroom. The plumber also takes care of the sump pump pit, and well, the pit's put in by the concrete guys, but they will finish it off with the pump and such, and it's got a shut off there as well. But this pit has to be by code 2 inches above the finished floor, and we've created this little enclosure for the sump pump, and we had to locate it in the back because that's where the discharge to the storm sewer is that we have to connect to. But I didn't want it below the bedroom, so it's not in the corner in the far side over there where it would be closest to the sewer, because I didn't want to have a sump pump that has the potential of cycling on and off being right below the right below the bedroom. So here we branch off into the downstairs bathroom, which will have a shower base, a toilet, and a sink, and it'll serve as kind of a guest room as well. Do not be alarmed, that blue shower base is not really the color. That's a protective cover that's over the shower now, so it doesn't get damaged during construction. So going through this opening back here at the base of the stairs will actually take into a snack area. It'll have a refrigerator, but it will not have any plumbing in it, because we do have a sink right here. One of the things I want to note is this opening here, we framed it out so that in the future, if this ever becomes a bedroom down here for a live-in help type situation, we can open this up, put a door in here, and this can have relatively private access into the bathroom area from the guest suite. Back in the utility room, we'll talk about this ductwork and what that's all about later, but you can see that there's a stub in for a gas line for a future boiler for the radiant heating system. Sewage ejector pump is here. Now anything that is below grade, below the first floor, the bathroom and this laundry tub over here that we have down here, all that has to drain into this ejector pit. Finally, there is a radon vent here that's marked radon, and that goes up through the roof, and that is connected into the underground slab, or the gravel underneath the slab. So there you have it. Kind of gives you an overview of what's going on with the plumbing. I'm sure I missed some things, but gives you a good overview of what's involved and how things tend to work on the plumbing part of it. So I hope you've enjoyed this segment. If you did, please subscribe, like, do all that fun stuff. And then join us for the next episode where we'll talk about the HVAC system, and that will explain kind of some of the things we're doing. We are planning to use a hybrid system for the heating. We'll talk about that next time. So please join us again. And with that, we're out for today.